Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to have you here with us. Congratulations on the incredible show. We were left on quite the cliffhanger at the end of season 1, coming into season 2, I guess. Biggest revelation, there is more than one silo. Set the scene for us a bit. What can fans expect from this next instalment, and particularly from your characters?
I think they can expect a deepening of the intrigue. Like, you think, oh, we've got some answers, but those answers only lead to more questions. Yeah, so a deepening of the intrigue, more interplay between the characters' stories, finding out their histories, where their loyalties lie. Yeah, just a broadening and a deepening of the world, I think, which is always interesting in a story. When you think you know what's going on, then you're like, aha. So yeah, there's a few aha moments.
Like the set, it's wheels within wheels, just when you think you've cracked it, something else comes and throws the whole thing out. I think they can expect a sort of more streamlining of the stories, because I think season 1 had the burden of setting up an incredibly difficult notion for the audience to get round, sort of orientate themselves in the history of this whole thing. But by season 2, they can just lock on to what we're doing within the silo and within that story, and they know so many of the characters already, and they're developing in different ways, and the people up top are really sort of, who are they, what are they up to, and where do they, as you say, where do their loyalties lie, which is always really intriguing, isn't it?
And who's going to be brave?
Who's going to be brave? Who's going to be a traitor? Who's going to, what are their motives? And it's within this relatively small world of 10,000 people. What would we be like if we were confined to 10,000 people and had to survive?
And in terms of your individual characters, kind of in terms of loyalty to Juliet, and how, each person's reacting differently to this idea of rebellion, of who wants to sort of, play by the rules, who's going on which team.
Yeah.
So what can we see from Carla in particular?
From Carla, I think Carla's got a deep passion within her, but I'm not sure that she was always going to step up and be part of any rebellion, because she's very responsible. I think she knows more about the finite life of the silo. It's not that she's got any more answers, but obviously being head of supply, she knows how much stuff they've got left, she's got an idea of how much stuff was brought in when they first built the silo. So she hasn't got any more answers, but she does have a lot more knowledge, if you know what I mean. Something about their reunification, what's the word? Yeah, something about that sparks, that passion, I think sparks a life passion for her, where she's, all of a sudden she is prepared to be part of the team that's stepping up and wanting answers and ready to change the world. So
yeah, I think without one another it would be different in some way.
Yeah.
Because there's something about being the keepers of certain bits of knowledge that you have to keep quite quiet, and you have to be careful with, and the young whippersnappers are all playing out all the old mistakes, and so there's an unspoken, we get it kind of, we know where our caution comes from. On our own, we'd be kind of feeling rather isolated in that. And I think the fact we've both got one another gives us courage, doesn't it, really?
And also maybe something worth fighting for. Because, like if you've got a love, or a burgeoning love, or a reconnected love, or whatever, all of a sudden life looks different.
Definitely.
So
that's a good point.
Yeah, that gives them, the future also looks different. So you're fighting for a different future. You're prepared to put yourself on the line a bit more.
And one of the things I think really stands out about this show is just the epic, meticulous world building. This sort of leans even more into this kind of cyberpunk aesthetic in this season. So, what is it like being on these sets and working with this incredible ensemble cast?
It's fabulous.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's the most helpful bit of the whole thing. Although, of course, not to disillusion people, of course, the reality is that a lot of it is added afterwards in special effects. But having seen the whole of season 1, then your mind can imagine where you are, and you multiply 50 people by 10 and you've got a crowd of 500, in your mind. It's just very real, and it needs to be for us, because our imaginations can't conceive of this thing,
It's also astonishing how much of it they did build. To be in there and to see, the stairs going up.
Real rooms.
Quite a lot of it. And then, looking off to the side and seeing, people's doorways and where they live, and the whole cafeteria set. Like those sets are all there.
Yeah, they're there in the engine rooms and things like that.
It's brilliant. It's literally when I was a kid and I wanted to be an actor, that's why I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be in the story.
Exactly.
I used to be like, I want to be in the story. So when you get on a set like that, you're like, I'm in the story.
It's totally true.
Amazing.
It's totally true.
Thank you so much for sharing that with me.